All right, so for this video, we're going to talk about questions 3 and 4 for part 1 and the Beak of the Finch reading for this week. Question 3 says, what were Darwin's first impressions of the Galapagos finches? After talking about this, we just kind of occurred that Darwin didn't really have much interest in the finches at all. In fact, he just kind of really ignored them. He didn't really think they're very interesting, and he just because he thought there were some other common finches, found everywhere, that he just thought they're like, oh, whatever, just more finches. So he
Yeah.
basically ignored them.
And the funny thing about it is that, in addition to him like not seeming like they were very important, he only made really a few minor observations, and so um, he in his journals and notes and stuff, it seemed that he barely even seemed to mention them. So, but going on to question 4, the question is, why did Darwin raise pigeons and then spend many pages discussing them in The Origin of Species? So, to kind of tackle this question, what we had discussed was basically that Darwin did this in an effort to um, reenact natural selection firsthand, if you will. And so he wanted to see if he could carry out certain traits and changes in things in a closed environment, so to speak.
Because at the time, Darwin thought there really was no way to observe natural selection unless it was in a closed environment. So that's why he never really talked about the finches, because it wasn't really closed environment. It wasn't isolated enough, and he couldn't control enough of the variables to think that he could actually observe natural selection, which we know to this day you actually can. But at the time, he didn't think so. So that's why he spent so much time talking about the pigeons, because he thought that's where the most compelling evidence he could have come up with for natural selection would be. So.
Mm-hmm.